What's up, your boy Vaughn? Another reaction. In today's video, we have, did Conor Ben just betray Eddie Hearn? Conor Ben just signed with Zuffa Boxing. Dana, why do you want to get in the boxing game? Like, nigga, you already got the UFC game. Like, the UFC is fucking way bigger than boxing. Like, I'm
All right,
confused.
fellas.
Just fucking money hungry game.
Conor Benn is officially
Let me see if I could do a Dana White impression. Yeah. Yeah. Uh, why do y'all stop asking Sean Strickland that dumb shit? I don't think I even sound like him.
now with Zuffa
Yeah.
Boxing. It's probably the last thing I expected to talk about today, but it's
Conor
really happening.
McGregor.
At the height of the Dana White Eddie Hearn feud, one of Matchroom's biggest stars has signed with their biggest enemy. Dana has been talking about how he was going to make shockwaves within the boxing world, and I think this is the first time we've actually seen them back that talk up. Honestly, not much shocks me in boxing anymore. But this move here absolutely did. I don't think this was on anyone's radar. So, with this announcement, I want to talk about how this all came about. Talk about the business, the lack of loyalty, and most importantly, where does this lead Conor Benn? Now, Conor Benn signing this deal really came out of nowhere. On paper, it's an 8-figure deal for one fight to take place in the UK sometime in April or May of this year.
Nigga, this nigga Dana never paid a UFC fighter 10 million. Like, what the fuck? Nigga, what's the highest paid? Let me see. Highest, highest, highest paid UFC fight. What? 8 million earned by Brock Lesnar. Wait. Wait, they gave Brock Lesnar 8 million to fight Mark Hunt? What the fuck? Wait, for real? What the hell? Let me see purse. This nigga Brock was a beast though, I ain't gonna lie. What fucking AI? It's capped. It say 2.5 million. Oh, pay-per-view percentages. But like, how much? What's the most he ever paid a nigga? Yeah, it probably was Conor McGregor. That nigga Con. I mean, Dana loved that nigga Conor. Haven't earned damn 114 million throughout his career. Damn. Okay. Yeah, that nigga Dana loved
Everything about
Conor.
this is odd. None of it really makes sense. Ever since the Eubank rematch, all Ben has talked about is how he wants to get that WBC title alike to his father, which is being fought for tomorrow as Barrios takes on Ryan Garcia. And just FYI, if you're buying that pay-per-view, slap my code in at checkout and save yourself some coin. But all Ben has been talking about
Ryan beat Barrios ass, man. Beat that nigga ass.
is how he wants a world title. If not the Garcia Barrios winner, he wanted that Rolly fight as Rolly holds the WBA title. But he was mainly pushing for that WBC shot. And he was pushing hard enough.
Conor been not that good. I feel like Ryan beat Conor Ben. Like I never be honest, I never watched the Conor Ben fight. I know watched them Eubanks fights. Like I know he fucked the Eubanks up in the last one in the third fight, but I don't think Conor been that good, gang.
That the WBC made him the 147-pound mandatory.
But he is a superstar in the UK. They love that nigga. I seen on Instagram that nigga got a Ferrari truck and a Rolls Royce. He got mad cars. He is a superstar in
Although
the UK. They love that nigga.
he hasn't fought anywhere near that division in years. Yet now signed to Zuffa has kind of thrown all of this out the window. Zuffa does not want their fighters seemingly competing for external titles. This hype and storyline he's been building is now gone. Yet I think the biggest shock about this whole situation is him leaving Eddie Hearn. Hearn has been the biggest supporter of Benn through the ups and downs. After the whole egg situation happened and Benn seemed done, Hearn was really the only one who stood by him and helped him save his career. He helped Benn out of one of the biggest controversies British boxing has seen in years and helped him to become
But that fuck, yeah, that nigga was juicing just like Ryan. Like he was juicing.
one of the biggest stars Britain has. Hearn has been incredibly loyal and has given Benn all the correct opportunities. With Benn's limited skill set, he's matched him perfectly to help make him the name he is today. But
Yeah, niggas a snake you about that money. Why you call your homie? Snake that boy about that bread.
I think even this news had
that
Hearn
fucking
taken it back.
that mace meme.
Hearn said in his first interview since the announcement with IFL TV that he heard about it only a few days ago from an email from Benn's lawyer. At this point, Hearn reached out to Benn and said that after all that Matchroom had done for him, surely they could at least have a phone call. And Benn said no. He wouldn't even jump on the phone with the man who saved his career. No phone call, no nothing. He had made the decision to go with Dana, and that was it. Now, this game, bottom line, is business, and that is how
Yeah,
Benn will
business.
defend this move. He'll call this move an extraordinary opportunity, and that it was a payday he couldn't turn down. But this was probably a payday that Hearn could have came close to matching. A Garcia-Rolly fight back in the UK, I would assume, would be most likely an 8-figure payday for Benn. So even from a business perspective,
What that nigga Pooh Shiesty said, my mama said cut the grass, but I'm the snake.
it's just a bit confusing. From a loyalty perspective, it's a bit of a Judas maneuver. Hearn has done everything in his power to support Benn and put him on the biggest of stages. All for Benn to turn around and sign with his biggest rival. And on top of all of this, in Benn's goodbye message to Matchroom, he said that he hopes Hearn will still be a part of his team. And that to me just seems like a kick in the teeth. Why would Hearn want to be a part of your team while you're working with one of the biggest threats to his business? It just makes no sense. Now, Benn did only sign a one-fight deal with Zuffa, but I think we're probably going to see this relationship somehow continue after this bout. Benn would not have just left Hearn for one fight. Maybe he fights once under Zuffa and then moves on to the ring, but I guess only time will tell. Yet, who could we see Benn fight? Well, I would imagine for the money they're throwing at Benn, they'd probably want him to fight somebody significant. I would think it's probably going to end up being a Rolly Romero or a Teofimo Lopez. I don't think Rolly is currently tied to a promotion, so he could sign a similar one-fight deal with Zuffa to get this fight over the line, and that makes sense as they're both good talkers, it would be an exciting style matchup. I wouldn't mind seeing it. Whilst also, Teofimo Lopez was spotted at the last Zuffa event, so he might be scouting out his options, and Teo also seemingly is not tied down to any promotion. He could also be a viable option, although I think that's a very tough night for Benn. The other fascinating part about this whole move is how the UFC world will react to this announcement. Especially the part about the money. Benn is seemingly getting paid more for this one fight than anyone else in the UFC roster is getting. Benn isn't even a
Shit crazy.
world champ, but he's
Bro, Ben not, yeah, like,
commanding this insane payday.
Ben not, nigga gave Conor Ben this money. Like, this nigga ain't no Javante Davis or nothing.
Whilst the likes of Alex Pereira sell out stadiums and probably still get nowhere near close to 8 figures.
Yup.
These sorts of moves are of course powered by the Saudi backing into Zuffa. Yet, Until Zuffa has a stranglehold on boxing, they will have to continue to fork out the cash for the big names because they have strong competition. Matchroom, Queensberry, Top Rank are still willing to put up the big money for the big fights. So to compete, Zuffa will have to match it. But it will be interesting to see how their combat cousins in the UFC will take the news.
Brother Saudi is getting the fucking UFC. Like, why do them niggas love boxing? Huh? They don't give a fuck about UFC. Like, y'all niggas want to get into everything else. I know fucking Saudis want to get into everything else. Fucking soccer, basketball, like,
The Zuffa stars being paid mental money while the UFC stars seemingly get far less. But overall,
nigga, you about to have fucking UFC fighters want to fight for Zofa now. Niggas about to start boxing, trying to fight for Zofa.
this move here to me is a win on multiple fronts for Dana. He steals
Shit, get Ilya Taporia versus Shakur super fight.
Hearn's
You know
youngest
Shakur gonna
star, he
beat that
gets a
nigga ass,
foothold in
but
the
fuck
British
you.
market, and he obtains one of the most marketable fighters currently in the sport. Benn knows how to put on a show and promote a fight, and that's exactly what Zuffa is currently looking for to thrust them into the mainstream. Whilst for Eddie Hearn, on the other hand, this is a difficult situation. Losing one of your major stars who you've spent years trying to build just as they're entering their prime is tough, but probably the sting of betrayal will be worse. Yet, I guess only time will tell if this was a genius move by Benn or a career ending one. But now I want to hear what you think at home. What are your thoughts on Benn's move to Zuffa, your thoughts on the betrayal, and who do you think Benn will fight as a part of this deal? Let me know.
Probably Ryan. No, but Ryan won't Shakur. Probably Ryan Garcia. I don't know. But even though he a woman beater, I don't fuck with Tank. I ain't about to say boxing ain't the same when I Tank. I want Tank to lose. I'm not fucking with no woman beaters. I'm not gonna lie. And Conor been called that out. He said, "Bro, the man put his hands on women." Like, uh, but Eddie is still my homie, but it's a business, mate. Eddie, what do UK niggas say? Eddie is still my crew. No, that's Canadian slang. What do England niggas say the for their friends, like they terminology for their friends? Oh, that my mate. Eddie, that's still my mate, but it's a business, mate. Like it's a business. Dana White, he came with the 8-figure deal, and me and Eddie, we just parted ways, mate. Tuna with rice and beans on it from Spud Bros, mate. Make sure to come subscribe and all deuces.